Hey folks, my name is John Lee, and welcome back to my channel. Now for those of you who are coming back to this channel, you'll notice that there was probably a little bit of a change since you were last here. Well, for one thing, this channel's name has changed. Until just a few days ago, this channel was called Korean Movie Buffs, but now it's changed to the Korean Foreigner. Now, for those of you who've been following me for a while, you know that this is the name that I've been known for a long time. But a lot of you might not be familiar as to why I chose this name. And I'm going to explain to you just a little bit as to why I chose this name from the beginning and why I've renamed the channel to this name as well. Back in 2013, I had just gotten done with the army, and at the time I really wanted to start my own blog. And in order to start a blog, you need a name, a brand name. And I was wondering what to call myself, and as I thought about my own identity and my own past, I realized that Korean Foreigner was the name that was most apt to describe me. Now, the reason why I thought it described me best was because I've spent my entire life as a foreigner. I'll explain as to why that is. Uh, I'm Korean, I've served in the army here, and I've got all the documents that prove that I'm Korean. However, I wasn't born here, and I wasn't raised here either. In fact, I was born and raised in a small country called Brunei. I'm sure some of you might remember Brunei because of the fact that Brunei was in the news last year. Though I was born in Brunei and I spent the first 18 years of my life there, I was never allowed to become a Bruneian citizen. That's a rather long story that deserves its own video that I'll talk about in the future. But for now, let's just stick to the facts. I was never a Bruneian citizen, and while I grew up in Brunei, I was always reminded that I'm a foreigner who was merely given the privilege to live in Brunei. When I turned 19, I decided that I wanted to try something new, so I left tropical Brunei to live in Wisconsin, of all places. Let's just say that I was misinformed about the weather. Anyway, the reason why I'm bringing up Wisconsin is because after I left Brunei, I decided to go to Wisconsin to go to college. So, of course, I went to the US on a student visa, so duh, I was a foreigner there too. After I graduated from college, I decided to move back to Korea, the country of my parents' birth. And I've been living in Korea ever since, so it's been a little over 9 years since I moved back to Korea. Now, you'll notice that as you've heard me speak, I speak with a bit of an accent that you can't quite place. Don't worry about it, I can't quite place it either. But I'm bringing it up because when I speak in Korean, I speak in the same accent. Now, if you don't speak Korean, you might not realize that I speak with an accent, but Koreans pick it up really fast, and they know real quick that I'm not from around town. And so, although I've been living in Korea for almost 9 years, even now, in some ways, I still feel like an outsider. Maybe not so much like a foreigner, but definitely an outsider. And that's why I chose Korean Foreigner as my brand name when I started my blog. So now you know where Korean Foreigner comes from, but now the question is, why did I rename Korean Movie Buffs to the Korean Foreigner? Well, as some of you know, this isn't my first video that I uploaded to this channel. The first real video that I uploaded was a review and historical analysis of the movie Ode to My Father. Now, some of you might know this, but after less than a day that I had uploaded that video, I was forced to take it down because of copyright claims. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it hurt, and I was quite angry about that, and so I decided to talk to an industry expert to see if I could re-upload the video, or if I could upload future videos with movie clips that I wanted to use. As it turns out, while Korea does have fair use laws, it's not as widely applied as it might be in other countries. And it came down to one thing. In order to use movie clips to make further movie reviews, I needed to pay royalties to be able to use those movie clips. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have enough disposable income to be able to pay for every single movie that I wanted to review. And so, I was shit out of luck. So, for about 2 weeks after that meeting, I was really racking my brain as to what I wanted to do with this channel. I just started this channel and I didn't want to quit, but at the same time, I didn't want to keep making videos that was going to get me into legal trouble. And that's when it hit me. Let's just go back to the Korean Foreigner. Now, for those of you who've been following me since Twitter, you'll know that while I do talk about movies from time to time, I don't talk about movies as often as this channel might have led you to believe. I talk mostly about politics. I'm not saying that I'm going to turn this channel into a politics channel. I think there are plenty enough of those already, and I don't need to add one more YouTube channel to that pile on. But what I want to do is to use this YouTube channel sort of as an extension of what I've already been doing. I want to talk about things that interest me. My nationality doesn't define me, and as much as I like movies, my love of movies isn't the only thing about me either. I like to talk about a wide variety of topics, but I thought to myself that if I just continue to insist on using Korean movie buffs, then I will be limiting myself to talk about a very small set of topics when there are so many more things that I could be talking about. And that's why I chose the Korean Foreigner. So I guess by definition you could say that this channel, at least for now, isn't going to have a set subject matter that it's going to talk about. You know, there are all these famous YouTube channels where they stick to one topic and they really invest in it and they get deeper into it and they get famous for it. I'm not sure if I'm yet ready to take on that plunge. So maybe in the future, after I've made a few more videos and I feel like I know what I'm doing, then maybe I will start to delve into more specific subjects. But for now, I want to keep things as broad as possible. And that brings us to the end of this video. If you're new here, feel free to click on that like and subscribe button. And if you have an opinion as to which direction I should take this channel into, feel free to leave a comment. For now, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.